Good morning, comrades. Listen to WHIVLP New Orleans 102.3. Jeff and Robert here on the show. Here to celebrate America 250, right?
Um, I haven't given the Fourth of July or America 250 or any of that thing two thoughts.
Um, One of my favorite things that's happening right now is that they're going to have somewhere around like 50 different flyovers on the 4th. Just like I love a country that is just like, you know what? We can never ever in a million years give universal health care. Like that's impossible. What we can do is bomb schools abroad and have just like infinite displays of like not even like it's basically just a triumphal parade. You know what I mean?
But
Like
it's
that's what
not
it is.
even. Yeah, I mean, you don't even have to go that far.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to take the actual normie approach, like
Mhm.
America A, like that, how is that even impressive? We have
It's
that for
not.
NFL. We have that for NFL wild card playoff games, not even conference championships. So what are we talking about? I thought it was impressive for the Super Bowl here in New Orleans that we had 2 years ago we had Ospreys do a flyover the Superdome, which is funny because if you're in the Superdome, you can't see them
Yeah.
anyway. I just think it's funny how like the Ospreys are no longer a death trap
Well, that's nice.
because they were killing Marines. If you don't know what an Osprey is, it's a VTOL
Mhm.
plane, whatever you
Vertical
want to call it.
takeoff and landing.
Yeah, and it was just falling out of the sky, like just killing them. Like there was actually a Nicolas Cage movie that talked about it called Snake Eyes,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
and
I remember that movie.
it's actually really good. But yeah, that thing was just one of those things. Like it was one of the things we bought because
Oh,
we have to
I'm
pay
sure
homage to the
Boeing
military
or
industrial
Northrop.
complex.
Yeah, I'm
It
sure
was
Boeing or Northrop Grumman
it was
or
Bell, I
Bell.
think.
One of those like manufacturers. Like we have the coolest, most cutting edge, thing. I mean, what the Osprey was like the early 2000s originally. Like the F-35 was in development for what
Mhm.
20 years.
Yeah,
And cost trillions of dollars.
absolutely. Yeah, but we're a dying empire. I don't want to sound too much of a bummer, but yeah, I mean,
I
it's cool.
embrace
It's cool to deal with.
I embrace the
Go
fall
ahead.
of the American Empire. Quite
Oh
frankly, I
God,
mean,
yes.
it's not a bummer at all.
I told my mom once, who is for some reason I don't understand how you're a single mother who raised a child who had to make poverty choices about going to the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
I don't understand how you become a right winger after that, but okay, it's fine. But she's like an evangelical Christian too, and I told her I was like, "Oh yeah, I think Donald Trump's God sent," and she's like, "Absolutely." I said, "But not the way you think." I said, "If there's a God in heaven, he's more Pharaoh than Moses. Like we couldn't get the rise of the DSA and democratic socialism without Trump. The fall of the American empire we could not achieve without Donald Trump. Like if there was, you said this a million times, JD Pondon. Like
Mhm.
if there was, you know how liberals will be like, oh, he's a Russian agent. Like of course he's not. But if you were going to create a Russian
Well,
Chinese agent in a lab, he would look like Donald Trump. He would look and govern like Donald Trump.
well, I would also say at the same time is like, yes, I agree that like the horribleness of Donald Trump and like all of this sort of complete like not only like the third world country with the Gucci belt thing that you always say,
Mm-hmm.
and like we have
People much smarter than me say, but
you're
yes.
gonna die with student loan debt, or I am, and
Oh, I am too.
yeah, well we're gonna
Mine's
die.
about to
Yeah.
go into default.
Well,
And I haven't gotten a letter from them yet, but I'm sending them pictures of dead Palestinian children
right,
in
right.
lieu of
Well, that's
payment.
my
Like
point is
I'm
that
not
like
sending them nothing.
we have
Not a dime.
we're gonna die and we're never gonna have universal health care, at least not under the system that we currently have,
Mhm.
and like all of that stuff is true, and like the having the America 250 where they're having a state fair where nobody's going because it's 109 degrees and it sucks anyway. But like at the same time, like the only thing that I think like it's not just that is what sort of like actually kind of gives me hope for people to actually wake up and have there be an alternative. But the fact that the liberal political class is so inept, they're so
Mhm.
incapable of even challenging any of this stuff and like at least providing a patina of an alternative. Every time it comes down to like how it was with Iran, or you know how it's been with Gaza for the past 3-4 years or however it's been. It's been a long time,
But yeah, sure.
but like essentially the conservatives are just the ones that like smash the thing, and the liberals are the ones that are like, oh, we don't disagree with you smashing the thing, but we don't like how you did it. We don't like the fact that you didn't fill out the paperwork, or whatever it is, when you decided to just openly just start a war with Iran. And like the political class, like by and large, not just the right wing, but the liberals as well, have been completely discredited in eyes of working people at this point, and that's why you're seeing like basic like I don't want to like undersell how exciting a lot of and we just had another one this week when Malat Kiros won in Denver, her primary for the House of Representatives. But like I guess what I'm trying to say here is that what they're doing isn't like super duper special. There is a lot of like organizing work that goes into like dislodging establishment figures, and that's great. But the messaging that they're putting forward is basically just common sense. You know what I mean? Like the political class is so completely and utterly just like feeble and discredited that like the messaging that you have to do is just like, hey, yeah, you might not have to die in debt if we could change this stuff. You know what I mean?
No, I mean it's 100% true. It's that it's really not that complicated.
No,
I mean I'm not trying to like you get it, and you're just like you're a good explainer, but it's just not that complicated.
No.
It's Milton's Paradise Lost. It's Democratic Party rather reign in hell than serve in heaven. Mm-hmm. It's another analogy I would give. It's if you're there's two restaurants in the town. One restaurant, the food will literally kill you, and so if you can just serve up food that it tastes awful, but it doesn't, you don't drop dead after you eat it, you're gonna have a successful restaurant business. Mm-hmm. If that's your only competition.
All you gotta do is be better than the other guy. But then the Democrats are
just marginally better too.
Well, I guess my point is that like the Democrats are like they operate under that thought process or whatever, but they constantly like can't even beat the people that food's gonna kill you.
Well, they don't care. Yeah. Well, they don't want to. That's the thing. It doesn't. It's like they can't beat them. It's like why beat them? Mm-hmm. Why do you want to be the only restaurant? Again, going back to my restaurant analogy. Why do you want to be? You don't want a monopoly. Yeah. Because then now you're it, and now
you're
that's
the target
all people can complain about. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So why not be the permanent opposition party? I mean, even I would say to some point, there's a lot of Republicans that want to be the permanent opposition party too, but then they have a lot of capital. Both sides have a lot of capital behind them that, actively just want to kill you. That would support the Peter Thiels of the world who are actively trying to be the Antichrist or whatever. But it's just like,
are you talking about the secret like society or whatever that just popped
up
I
mean,
a weeks ago?
I haven't even thought much about that because it's like, yeah, of course these people think that we're subhuman. They think that somehow because they failed up, they're better than us, and they're not.
That was one of those things when I saw that like Peter Thiel had like a cabal of people, including like Cory Booker and like a lot of right wingers, a lot of liberals, and like even weird ones like Joseph Gordon-Levitt, the actor, and whatever.
Yeah.
And like the thing about that is that to you and me, that is completely and utterly like unsurprising. However, in like when that stuff does kind of become public, I think the way that we talk about it can't just be like, we told you so, stupid working class people who didn't see this thing coming or didn't realize that this was reality, even though they might have like subconsciously done it. I think it's just to be like, wow, there is a secret island where they basically do Epstein stuff. You know what I mean? Like you kind of have to play it up a little bit. But yeah, it
is disgusting.
It's absolutely disgusting. It's horrible.
It's just that no,
but
what
it's just
you're saying
it's not a shock, And the question is, how do you take these things that like normal people? Because you don't want to be Alex Jones either, right? Like the whole reason Alex Jones exists is to make basically like conspiracy theories so easy to write off, and this is not a conspiracy theory what we're talking about, but like having any kind of actual conspiracy and any kind of like conspiracy theory be so like mixed up together that you can't really tell one from the other. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we've talked about that many a time, and that's one of the many plays.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to talk about, you know, you alluded to the races in, I mean, golly, so many,
Mm-hmm.
New York, Maine primaries,
Mm-hmm.
um, Denver, Colorado. You want to talk about things, and you know when the freak out between if you watch CNN and especially MSNBC, if you watch MSNBC, MS Now, and Fox News, how they're repeating the same talking points. The what we should all learn from this is that like the uniparty is face all is like it's exposed. When both the Democratic Party and the Republican Party are mad at you, you know you're hitting the spot. Like
Yo,
you're hitting where you're supposed to be hitting. You're doing your job.
you're not even right. You're not even just right about that. Like I was watching, there was uh, appearance that Sheikh Sadiq, who's actually a former guest of Good Morning Comrade, he's one of the national co-chairs of the Democratic Socialists of America. He appeared on Fox News. I think it was on Thursday, the second, and he was on the show with Will Kane. And basically, like Will Kane does one of these like 5 minute segments where he talks about how bad democratic socialism is and communism and all this other stuff, and trying to
Mm-hmm.
make it seem like it's extremely like scary. And he's talking about like, oh yeah, healthcare, you know. And then they have a Sheik on who I don't know if you ever met the guy. He's
Mm-mm.
like one of the most normal people you've ever met. Um, and he's also he's Bangladeshi American, right? I don't know like what generation. I don't know if he's like second, first, or whatever. But like he's a brown guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that made me like come out, like my soul left my body in this whole thing, is when Will Kane, the host of this Fox News television show, starts looking at a sheik, a Bangladeshi American guy, and saying like, "Hey, the organization that you represent is 85% white. Why is your white organization? Why is
That's
your
the
white
thing.
organization? Do they speak for the working class?" And it's
Oh
just like Fox News
man,
just went way woker than like Hillary 2016. It's crazy,
that's the
dog.
thing though. They are spinning themselves in the ground because they do not know. And I have to eat some crow myself here too because I had completely written the DSA off, and it's just because of my of my actual on the ground. And I'm just an
Yeah,
opinionated
sure.
guy who's I don't know anything about anything. But I mean, I do. That's not true. I am. I
Yeah.
do know a lot of stuff.
That's
But
part of why we like you though, because
yeah,
you're
but it's just like because of my micro view of the DSA, I was not aware of like how DSA National had been organizing, and so I have to eat some crow there too. And especially as a guy who's like, I'm really happy that the DSA. I don't want to say got their act together, but they've built into a place of actual real power. And then talking to a guy like me, who's again, I will say a million times, um, we talked about it last week. Talking about I said some. I don't even believe in electoral politics, but I will vote in every stupid election.
sure.
And the same thing, I had something snarky to say about AOC, which I will hold.
Yeah.
I will definitely hold on to that. I would tell her that to her face if like we ever ran into her in the street. But the thing is, the way, and I would finish this with the way I would walk on bloody stumps to go vote for
Yeah.
you if you were running for president of the United States. Like I'd do it in a heartbeat. I wouldn't even think twice about it. But that's how you should be. That's my whole thing of how you should be with anybody running for office.
Yeah.
Anyway, you should always critique them. But
Of
my
course.
point of this whole
I
rant,
don't disagree with any of that, by the way. I just want to
yeah,
like
my my point of this whole rant is that like yeah, I have to eat some crow too, and I'm it's cool to see how DSA has mobilized and actually has gained real power, and it's all but the thing is, it's like the centrists, which are just right wing
yeah.
anyway. Centrist Democrats are right wingers, and right wingers are spinning themselves in the ground because they don't even know how to address or talk or fight the DSA because at one point they'll say, "Oh, it's full of like non-American, it's full of anti-American third worlders," Like literally, that's been said on Fox, but also it's too white.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like whatever. And it gets to a point where you're even watching, the big three, MSNBC, CNN, Fox, and you're just like, who is this for?
What's for?
Like, is this for people waiting on their flight in the airport?
No.
Is this for me, mom? This got to be for grandpa and pop pop. Like,
it is.
This isn't for anybody who's thinking about anything.
Yeah, no.
It's like
cable
it can't
news
be.
is for so cable news is for at this point high propensity voters who are disproportionately like over 70 years old, essentially. Yeah. Like I don't have the like Nielsen statistics in front of me, but like one of the things I'm sure you've been paying attention to like media for a long time, and one of the things that a lot of like liberal and left media have constantly said about Fox News is that their age demographic has gotten, basically like the average age of the Fox News viewer was like Social Security and older. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like over 65. And that's not something that's going to get younger as media develops. So, and again, like that's not to even say that like media like what we're doing or what Hassan Piker or whatever is doing is like necessarily going to replace that. But like how people interact with politics, which has probably since the 90s, probably since like the Clinton era, since CNN really came on the scene, it's going to be fundamentally different,
Well, I would also say there's something I haven't. This is actually is my own idea because I haven't heard it said anything anywhere else, and I think you and I have, and the people in our friend circles have. Are you still there?
I'm still here.
All right, cool. You and I and the people in our friend circles have, obviously lived experience with this. Is that I keep hearing this talk about the young voters, but I was told in my 20s. I was told when I out of the Marine Corps, I was like fresh out, and I was not even 30 years old yet. I had some boomer, some Gen Xer, it wasn't a boomer, some Gen Xer trying to tell me, your attitudes will change as you get older. As you get older, you'll be more conservative. And I'm like, excuse me. I'm like, I don't know if you know this. I'm a Marine Corps vet. I've been around the world. What are you talking about?
Well,
and this is like the thing about this talk about young people. We are not young people.
No,
like
I don't
know. These demographics, like we're not. We are not being. We're not the ones being advertised to like by Capitol anymore. Except if our music that we grew up with is now on the the classic rock station, which it is. It's not even a joke.
We're a nostalgic now.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like we might be the dominant culture because of our age, but we are not these young people. So even as people are now old and aged out of being young, whatever that is, that cutoff is, our politics has not changed.
No, I would say that
we did not go from hippies to yuppies. That did not happen.
I'll say that if my politics personally, and I we can sort of like talking about mine personally and extrapolating is probably not fair, but like just speaking for myself in this sort of situation, like. When I was in college, I was like a MSNBC watching, like Young Turks watching, like basically a liberal who called
liberal. I was definitely a liberal.
Yeah, like I would be.
I was like an Obama liberal.
And by the way, in that era, I was never an Obama guy, but like in that era, like calling yourself a socialist was not like a thing. That was not a thing that people did unless they were like actually committed and organized, and when that sort of developed was really probably, I want to say probably around 2012, I would guess. That's when that sort of started, right? At least in the popular like idea of it. And then like Chapo popped up in 2016. That popularized a lot of that stuff, and then post Bernie is when DSA blew up. So like the landscape, when you think about it, over the past 15 years has been almost like it's unrecognizable, I guess you could say.
Yeah, and then like my politics.
I remember Keith Olbermann was like the number one guy on MSNBC.
I used to watch Keith Olbermann like every night. I used to watch him and what's her face.
Rachel Maddow.
MSNBC. Rachel Maddow. I used to fall asleep to Rachel Maddow. But like the thing is, like, my politics were, and I feel like not as extreme. A lot of people our age, but my politics was like built backwards from the way that we were told it was going to work out. Like, oh, we're going to get the house with the pool, and all of a sudden we're all going to be voting Republican. My first real job that wasn't like a kid job was being in the United States Marine Corps. So I saw firsthand how socialism worked. Like, it works. Everybody, you get housing. You don't have to worry about where your next meal's coming from. If you need more money, then the government gives you, if you need more money to rent an apartment because where you're living costs more, the government literally runs your information through and the zip code, and they give you more money based on where you live, so you can rent decent housing. So it's like, I understand how healthcare, I understand how socialism works. And then when I got into the real, I don't say the fake job market, the capitalist job market, I was like, what is this? Like, why does anybody in America live like this? Because I've seen how you don't have to. And like, that's kind of the bedrock of my politics, to where they've just gotten more and more left over the years, because I'm like, yeah, socialism works. Like, I lived it for 4 years. It absolutely works. What are we talking about?
Right.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. And again, another one of those sorts of things, and I do think it's important to sort of like we're talking about our generation, and I think it's also important to talk about some of the experiences that we've seen, because I think you're just like a couple of years older than me, right? I mean, when I was
5 in a couple days,
yeah,
can't believe
so
you're like 50.
You're like 3 or 4 years older than me, whatever. But like, what I'm trying to say is that you were. I was in a junior in high school when 9/11 happened, right? I was I was in college when Hurricane Katrina happened. Basically, when I had just gotten out of college was when the financial crisis had happened. And it's just like watching one calamity after another happen, where the government absolutely craps the bed over and over again. And watching how not the government operates not to help people or to serve people in any meaningful way. In fact, like especially when it comes to Iraq and Iran, it's like, how can we kill as many people as we possibly can? And I mean, I don't think it's like a universal perspective that people who come from an age cohort similar to us. And a geographic cohort to me too, because not everybody in the country, got 8 feet of water in their house, but everybody did see the government fail in 4K, or whatever it was at the time, the highest resolution at the time. But the way our society is constructed has been proven over and over again to be a joke. And when you say that we're not even young people anymore, because I remember even after that, like I'm in college, like back again the second time in like 2011. That's when they're just like I'm probably in my like late 20s, early 30s. And that's when the hand wringing around, like, oh, look at all these millennials eating avocado toast became a thing, And then now, even like that hit me in a very similar way to when Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank, a billionaire like jackass, right, starts running around saying like, hey, if you don't make, if you're making $70,000 a year, you shouldn't be spending $27 on lunch. That's exactly the same kind of thing, and it's all targeted at like this perception of what young people is. And $70,000 when I was a kid was like real money.
That's a lot of money. It's a lot of money now.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at, I just did a little Google search. Zohran Mondami's 34 years old.
Yeah.
Abdul Syed is 41. These are not children.
Abdul is the same age as me. He's the exact same age as me.
These are young. I mean, these are old people. These are old people. Average.
They're adults at least. Like if you don't want to call them older, or adults at least.
These are not children. This is not some kind of like go out and get the youth vote. These are people who have worked jobs. These are people who have been beaten down by capitalism, and they know what to do.
AOC
Like
got
they know what it
elected.
they know what it is.
AOC got elected at 28. I think it was 28 years old. That was in 2017, maybe 2019. 2019 is like 8 years ago, or like 7 years ago. So she's in her 30s. She's actually able to be old enough to run for president potentially. Whether or not she does it, that's a different thing. But like what I'm trying to say, less the president thing, is the fact that like she is what like you would think that older people would consider to be middle age, and the political faces that we've seen our entire lives are exactly the same.
Exactly the same.
Exactly the same.
That woman who went down, I don't even know her name. I've never heard her name in Colorado.
She was alive longer. She was alive longer than Malat Quiros was alive.
Yeah,
she was
just having a seat in Congress, doing nothing, literally doing nothing, but aiding and abetting a genocide. And the reason we don't know her name is because her name's DeGette. DeGette, she has nothing to hang her hat on of how she helped her constituency.
She was just keeping a seat warm.
Just keeping a seat warm, waiting, just getting the campaign funding, and then she can go be a lobbyist somewhere. Like that's how this works in America. And if you think that, you think, again, my non-belief of electoral democracy is because of stuff like that. Like we don't have an electoral democracy, but that doesn't mean we can't build one, and that's what the DSA and Democratic Socialists are doing now. Well, but it's just like, I mean, look how quick you and I remember a million years ago of 8 years ago when Bernie was running for president, when dinosaurs roamed the earth. It's hard to think back that far, but it was like, hey, you got to vote blue no matter who. And how quick after Zorman Mondami's victory, after these victories in Colorado, Plattner's about to win his race.
New York City.
Al Sayed is way ahead in his race. How quick have we gone from vote the Democratic Party now, vote blue no matter who, to where corporate bosses and should run the party, and y'all shouldn't really get a vote in the Democratic Party. Like you shouldn't be in the Democratic Party. You shouldn't be allowed to run it. Your votes actually shouldn't even count because we should decide who gets to run and win in this party. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, cool. Thanks for letting me know exactly what people like us have been saying for, I don't know, forever now, but nobody wants to hear it because when you're a leftist, you're just way too early, but you're always correct. And no one's ever there that's the thing about being a leftist. Like no one's ever there to give you your flowers, to be like, oh, you were right, Jeff, because blah 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 blah. No, they just move on to the next foolishness.
Yeah. And again, it's not even just that. The degree, because again, the vote blue no matter who, this is the most important election of our lifetime, like these same exact people. Again, like I don't want to get into all of the like particulars of Graham Plattner or whatever, but what Neera Tanden is doing. She's the head of the Center for American Progress, and she's like one of these people who is like, I'm a progressive, I believe in all these things, Medicare for all, and they always are. That's always like the first thing they compromise away. She's basically done nothing in the past month since Plattner won his primary. She's done nothing except just like talk about why he's so bad, while also like she's basically moving in such a way that it's very clear that she's trying to keep the kayfabe up that like, yes, I have to support Democrat and vote blue no matter who, but it's also very clear that she's decided that it's preferable for us, for corporate Democrats, to tank progressives like Plattner, like Avila Chevalier, like Valdez and others. It's preferable to tank those people and have a Republican sit in those seats than to have them win, because what's less important to people like her, people who are consulting class, people that are in charge of these organizations that are that essentially are power brokers. What's more important to them is not the actual balance of power of the government. It is maintaining control over their backyard, which is the Democratic Party. And so,
Yeah.
and I think I've said this, I do feel a little bit vindicated in saying that we need to sort of like take their turf away, take their power away. Because right now we are at least in, fits and starts, and it's not over. There's a long fight ahead, but at least we're moving in that direction. And there's been a lot of talk in like DSA and in leftist spaces about something called the dirty break. You remember when they had a lot of like dirty break conversation years and years ago? Like the way that was always framed to me, the way I always thought about it, like that people described it to me, was that it would be the leftists that break away from the Democrats to create their own like party or whatever it is and do that whole thing. And I just always kind of thought like that seems wrong. That seems backwards, because when you take these people's position away, when you take their when you beat them essentially at their game, they're just going to take their ball and go to the other side, and they're going to be the ones that do the dirty break. You see what I'm saying?
I mean, Louisiana's own piece of garbage, James Carville.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll catch you in the street again and yell at you again.
Old Shrek head.
But like, yeah, it's like
I've never seen a man with a head like that. He's a crazy looking guy. I've never seen anybody look like him.
After DSA victories in NYC in New York City, he literally went on TV and said, I'm not in the party. I'm not voting Democrat again. And it's like, yeah, you were always a right winger, dude. Like you always, like you and Bill Clinton have always been right wingers. Mm-hmm. Like this is not a surprise. This does not shock me. So go with your people. Mm-hmm. Go to the right wing with Trump. Like we always knew this. It's the difference between a Carville and a
let me find the Jamie Harrison.
What's his name on oh man, God dog it, on MSNBC, Joe Scarborough, is that they're right wingers, they're reactionary, fascists, but what they want is they want to be socially accepted, so they can't have both. And it's like these people want, so the right wing, you got people who just like, most of them want power, like they want power, and the ones at the very top, I'd say like a Hexith. Like you got the hardcore guys who are like, I don't care about what you think about me, so I'm just going to be fascist. Yeah. But then after that, it's just a steep drop off to being like, oh, well, I'm right wing and reactionary, but I want to go to the cool parties. I want to be socially acceptable. And you can't have both. Those two rabbits, you can't chase both those rabbits at the same time. Like, I don't care. Like, I saw a thing, and I'll let you go after this, but I saw a thing that it said, it was some poll, who cares? And it doesn't matter if it's real or not. It said something about, LGBTQ gay issues or rights or something is at the lowest, like polling at the lowest it's been since XYZ. And I'm like, that means nothing to me. If there was one gay guy in New Orleans during Pride doing his own private Pride parade because nobody wants to be associated, then I will be the only one out there waving a flag for him. My personal politics in my soul do not depend on what is acceptable, socially acceptable or not. I know my positions are correct, and I will push them until I die. I don't care. I don't care about being liked by these people.
And again,
these people are demons.
Again, I do want to also sort of like back you up to a certain extent too, because and we see this happen a lot when it comes to identities, like black identities, gay identities, all this stuff. And it's it's easy for me to say as a white guy or whatever, right? But you will see people like Jamie Harrison, who was the former, Democratic Party chair, or all these other things, essentially use their identity to push for an elite identity, an elite version of like that kind of politics, right? They're essentially like doing identity politics from a perspective of a consulting class, ruling class, whatever it is, and making that be sort of the default, right? Like, we have one representative of the Democratic Party who's black or something like that, or gay, or whatever it is, and essentially using them to be the voice of that identity in the working class, which does not work. It just does not translate that way.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And just to like, to give you an idea, and this isn't like a humble brag. I'm not
Mhm.
trying to be like I'm so righteous or whatever. I'm just like, uh, I will, the things I hold as a position, like I'm not, they just do not depend on the worst people on earth liking me or not.
Yeah.
When the new
It,
version of the Palestinian genocide kicked off,
mhm.
after October 7th, I went right on, to whatchamacallit, 3 years ago,
Mhm.
went right on to Amazon and got my Palestinian flag,
Mhm.
and it's been flying out front of my house for 3 years, and people have been trying to take it down and rip it down. And I'm like, I'm putting signs outside of my house that says, I will be home at this time. If you have an issue with this, we can take it wherever you want to go. And then all of a sudden, that stopped. And all of a sudden, you start seeing more of them pop up, pop, 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 pop. And I'm not saying I'm better than or
No.
because I was there first.
No.
It's that right is right and wrong is wrong. While you're sitting here, like, and again, I'll let you go. I'm looking at this thing right now. Axios is reporting that Kamala Harris privately called New York Mayor Zoran Mandami last week and has been holding lengthy closed doors meetings with other prominent progressives, including pro-Palestinians. And it's because she's trying to make a run for presidency again. And I'm like, you absolutely, see what you can get from her, Zoran or whoever, but you absolute scumbag. You wanted to stand on the bones and the bodies of these people. And now that it's not popular anymore and it didn't get you the power that you wanted, where I made a TikTok about this years ago. I go, this idiot, all she had to do was to literally, it's like Marvel comic stuff, to get the Infinity Gauntlet was to say, hey, maybe we shouldn't murder Palestinian people with taxpayer dollars. And she couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And she couldn't. Now she wants the Infinity Gauntlet again. And get her out of here. I'm done with this.
I'm fine with that. I do think.
I'm fine with it too, but just don't take whatever you can from her.
Absolutely. No.
Shiv her in the back.
And you don't even have.
She gets no place at this table.
You don't even need to shiver in the back. I mean, if you remember, 2020 when she had run for president the first time, she didn't even make it until 2020. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like she was such an embarrassment of a candidate that she, like, the only thing that she did, if I recall correctly, was made one comment during one debate about how Joe Biden was against busing and or whatever, and she was like impacted by that, and that was like her one big slay moment. And then the other thing that I remember from that election, I remember two other things. One was that she wanted to have like, we need to do student loan forgiveness for like small business owners of a particular identity in a particular geographic zip code. And
we love means testing.
Yeah, it's like the most mean tested idea that I've ever heard in my entire life. There was three things actually. That, the videos of her like laughing about throwing parents in jail for truancy, for their kids being truant, if you remember that. You remember that video? And then the third one was like when she was asked about if she supported Medicare for all or any kind of like socialized health care, and she raised her hand in a debate, and then when she was asked about following up, she totally walked it back.
Yep, I remember that.
Like this is something that we knew, she would not have gotten through. She would never have been in an actual primary type situation. She would have never been the nominee. The only way that could have ever happened is if she had been named the nominee in a firehouse situation like what happened with Joe Biden.
The thing is about her and people like her even say, like, I would say she's worse than Hillary Clinton, because at least Hillary Clinton's evil. At least like right wingers.
She's an absolute cipher. No, she's an absolute cipher.
Yeah, she's nothing. She's nothing. Like, evil people are interesting at least, because you get to do a whole character study. Like, you can't even watch a good movie or play a good video game or with a hero's journey without like a good villain is like,
a good villain's better than a good hero.
You're
exactly. You're a professional wrestling fan.
Yes.
Like baby faces are boring. Like, good guys are boring. Bad guys are
but
awesome.
guys like Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are nothing. They're just dust. They're just the flotsam and jetsam of human beings. They're worse, they're worse than jellyfish, because at least, like, you call a jellyfish spineless, but at least a jellyfish has like ambition to get its next meal.
Mm-hmm.
They're not just like kudzu or seagrass just flowing back and forth.
I do think kudzu is cool, just because
with
it
no
takes
ambition, no principle, nothing they'll stand for.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. They stand for nothing.
They stand. Well, at least they stand for like the only thing that they respect is motion. And, like, they're not even particularly good at getting that motion themselves. They need to get, like, a boost to get their motion. That's the problem. Like, at least Hillary Clinton was able to generate some motion on her own.
Yeah. No, I mean, I get that. But, like, at the end of the day, like, she's more interesting. Biden is more interesting because they're like, Biden will be like, you brokies, you can't, file for personal bankruptcy, but we can bail out the banks all day. Mm-hmm. At least Bill and Hillary like hate black and brown people. Mm-hmm. Call black children super predators. Like
or have slaves in their Arkansas mansion when he's governor.
Yeah, and Bill will kill a emotionally a intellectually handicapped
mm-hmm.
Man from in Arkansas would
he'll personally attend the execution. That's how much he cares.
That's evil, man. That's cool. Like you at least like, wow, that's crazy. But Kamala Harris and so many liberals just believe in nothing. Mm-hmm. And they believe in nothing. And what they're not understanding is the thing, and I say this a lot about to stick with the Palestinian genocide. Mm-hmm. And I say, a lot of these people out here, I said, y'all have a limited time to change your tune, and you better do it right now. Because the difference between this and even South Africa, or like the pictures of the sit-ins during the civil rights movement, where like white people were throwing food at the Woolworths counter on, SNCC activists, is because, they had your picture, but you couldn't link that to really anything. You could just fade away.
Yeah.
Anybody talking anything in the next 5 years about, it's going to be a shame.
We got their LinkedIn, we got their Facebook, we got all their stuff.
I want to see your socials right now before you tell anything about anything. I saw a great clip, and it was some Democratic operative on MSNBC or something, and they had they're sitting Republican guys were talking about, we don't want to race to the bottom with politics, with this whole socialist thing, like that's, and he's like, and the Democratic operative guy was just like, y'all support Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. That's over with. Like the whole idea is like people are supposed to play nice and not say mean like y'all killed that. Yeah. Like it's over. It's done. I don't want to hear you talk anything about anything ever again. Well, and that's where we're at now.
And again, that reminds me of what we were talking about kind of at the top, is like when you have a Fox News host who's essentially like, look, Fox News is basically Klan TV, right? Complaining about to a brown Bangladeshi guy about how white his organization is on national television. Like we're seeing that. And I do want to circle back to the no motion thing really quick too. Daria Lisa Avila Chevalier, shout out to her. She she proved one thing. And Chiose posted about this too on Twitter. He said that S posting will not hinder your political career anymore. But when Kamala Harris did her comments about don't come to immigrants at the border, trying to do that, Daria Lisa in her old tweets that they tried to use against her said F Kamala Harris. It was such a big deal that her opponent's campaign mailed out mailers that basically had Daria Lisa's a picture of her with F Kamala Harris on it, and it went out to the entire district or whatever, and she still won. I want one of them flyers. If you are listening to this show and you have one of those flyers, give it to me. It will be right behind me in the background. That would be so sick.
I saw Fox News with no irony, no smile, no nothing, sitting there and saying the same thing. Oh, can you believe she said F Kamala Harris? The Saint Kamala that we just love here at Fox News in New York City. that we just, every night as a Fox News analyst, every night I go home and I pray the rosary and I look up at my picture above my bed of Kamala Harris.
I pray for my enemies.
Who I have not said I've not used the most racist, sexist attacks to describe her. And it's like, what bizarro world is this? Where like Fox News, like you said, are sitting here trying to out woke each other.
Yeah. The
woke
right.
1.0 each other.
I love it. It's not even like it's not even like woke 2.0. It's like 2016 woke over again. They're like you're gonna have Fox News complaining about Bernie Bros any day now. It's gonna be awesome.
It's so
but I do want to say that like and this is actually going to be it's another one of those things that's so ridiculous that like even normies can sort of see through it. Where you're going to see liberals close ranks with the right on a lot of this stuff. We're already seeing it, and this is a good thing. This is creating space for like people, not even necessarily like organizationally speaking, like the SAE. Though I am biased, but like people who are in that lane, that sort of like anti-establishment lane. To step in and be like, look at these people. They're all on the same side. What's going on? Exactly. And they're going to try and keep that kayfabe up as hard as they... Well, I say that, and I do think they're going to try and keep that kayfabe up, at least to a certain extent. But, like, there are lines that Neera Tanden and, MS Now and all these dork balls won't cross, right? Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. That's what needs to be exploited. Gaza is, like, number one on that. Whether or not you not just call it a genocide, like it's pretty uncontroversial to call what's going on in Israel a genocide at this point, or what's going on in Palestine and Gaza a genocide, right? It's very not controversial. But like whether or not you take money from Israel is like that is going to be the like a major determining factor as to whether or not you are like in. Like on which side of the fence you're on. That's the divider.
I mean, the thing is, because the counter argument to that is guys like James Carville and like the rest of centrist Dems will just turn to the Republican Party.
Yeah.
But
bye. Have fun.
They won't. Here's the thing is they won't.
And it goes back to what if that's the case, then they're divided and we can split them right down the middle.
Well, I don't even think that's ever going to be the case, is because I think blue, no matter who, maybe they won't vote, but blue, no matter who, will eventually take over, because it goes back to what I said earlier is they have the same reactionary politics, but they don't want to be seen as those people. They don't want to be seen as Hillary Clinton put, the deplorables, which she was right about, the 30% base Trump support. So they never fully, they want to be lanyard boys and girls. They want to go to open bar cocktail parties. Yeah. I saw, for the people in our radio audience who are cursed to know who Nick Fuentes is, I saw Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes is a self-described Nazi.
Yeah.
I saw
even though he's a Mexican twink.
Right. But I saw a clip of him saying that somebody said, well, you should move. If you're upset about where you live, come live where I live in Oklahoma City. It's nothing but white people and this and that, or, some city, town in Oklahoma. And he goes, absolutely not. He goes, what I'm supposed to do? Go out there and eat barbecue 7 days a week and get the meat sweats. He goes, those cities suck. He goes, truthfully, and he said this with no irony. He goes, I like living around liberals. I like their culture. The cities are cooler. There's stuff to do. And I'm like, you know why? That right there.
You know why? Because he actually is one. He's a liberal.
Yes. He's a
liberal.
No, 100%. But that's what it is. Like, they'll never. What is MAGA right-wing culture at its core is the Great American State Fair. Nobody wants that. They don't even want that. What they want is to infiltrate our culture, which is cool, or to get them to like theirs, which will never happen. No. Those two things will never happen. So they're stuck in this thing where they have, again, the right wing right now, their power's waning, but there was a time very, very, very couple months ago where they have all power, all cultural influence, all woke was gone. The video games, the movies, the TV shows were no longer woke. Nobody wanted to do, Target wanted to disavow themselves from from gay pride and whatever, how quickly that turned around, because they were like, nobody wants to be associated with the people pushing for that. Mm-hmm. It's just, and I don't even mean morally it's disgusting, but just on a surface level, no one wants to be out here thinking that you're that trashy. Mm-hmm. They just don't. Mm-hmm. Sorry, your culture sucks. And your culture sucks. And I'm not talking about poor, because like Appalachian hill country culture is awesome. No. I'm talking about MAGA. I own a boat, flying my MAGA, wearing
beautiful
my
boaters, the beautiful boaters,
big beautiful boaters. These people are like what's left of the middle class, small business tyrants. That nobody wants to be around that.
Yeah, the people that would go to January 6th.
Yes, that. Nobody wants to be around that.
I also do think that it's worth pointing out as well, because you just alluded to this, and I do think that because of the way that we have sort of divide, like, and the way that like government, especially at the local level and the state level, runs roughshod over people, it gives the idea that people in a lot of these like red states or whatever are all just like 100% like MAGA chud or whatever, and it's just not the case. There's great people at every part of this country. It's just the policies that are implemented from the governments, which is not, again, you don't think governments are necessarily representative of the people at any level. Like there's a lot of great people in Florida. There's a lot of great people in Appalachia. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of great people all over this country. And it's one of those sorts of things where liberals who can only see this stuff in red state, blue state, just sort of like, oh, there's Florida, F everybody in Florida. You know what I mean? And that's very elitist, and that's like another part of the problem.
Yeah, I mean, that is the. Yeah, absolutely. And when you look at to my point, is Florida's a great example. I remember during the last, when Biden ran against Trump, if you look at the villages, how much like drama and like people are like, oh, this is like funny enclave of old people, in this like retirement community of the villages. Well, like I only saw a couple times, there was like a full blown like almost civil war in the villages of people who are just like, old people want to fight each other because the guys like they're like, I'm a liberal, they don't want to be associated with these, they don't want Vice coming down there and doing a story about like the people in their gated community are all scumbags that think that brown people should be like melted for bone tallow. Like, they don't want to look like that. They might even think that.
Yeah. But they don't want
the
image.
They don't,
and at some level, they're just like, hey, and even like when it's that level too, it's like they're kind of like, hey, my lawn guy, I don't want him to get deported or whatever. You know what I mean? Oh, the housekeeper or whatever, I don't want them to get deported. Like it's not necessarily like they're not even necessarily coming from a good place, but they actually like understand and recognize that. Like immigrants are workers and they make their lives better, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, even, I saw an interview where it was a cantankerous interview with I hope I used that word correctly, with CNN and El Said, and he said they asked him, well, what are you going to do with there's a lot of, Michigan's a red state now and there's a lot of Trump voters, and how are you going to convert them?
Michigan's
he's like, well, I talked to people. Yeah, he's like, I talked to people. Well, they did go for Trump.
Yeah, because huge swaths of it are like Michigan is one of the heaviest populations of Muslim Americans in this entire country, and the Democrat that was in office was just basically just allowing it to happen and funding it the whole way. So
he went into this whole thing about like, I talk to people on the ground and I deal with the material issues, which is the right question, but a snarkier, quicker answer that, I was watching and thinking, I was like, yeah, it's like, if I asked that question, something like, those Trump voters were also 2-time Obama voters and 1-time Biden voters. The same way that Trump won them, I'll win them back.
Yeah.
Except I won't lie about fixing their material conditions.
Yeah.
It's really not that hard. There's so many. I mean, there's so many people in this country who are just like, yeah, that guy's got a vibe.
Also,
cool.
also
Like,
again, I think it's very important to have a senator that can bench press 3 plates. That's really important.
that is really important. Yeah, because you never know. You might have to pick up a car because there'll be a baby pinned under or something. But like
He
people,
was on Fox News just this week. Not Fox
yeah.
News, on CNN. And
CNN, that's the CNN interview I
yeah.
was talking about. It was disgusting, but he handled it like a champion.
Oh my God.
Like he just wrecked it.
What a pro.
But if you just tell people people, we're at a time. It's the same way Trump won. Like, well, how can the DSA? How they're going to lose to? But no, it's the same way Trump won, and in the coldest way ever. It's just you're like, look, I have a vibe. Plus, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to fix your material conditions. Mm-hmm. And the thing about these progressive / DSA candidates is they actually have a plan to do it.
Yeah.
They won't just say, make America great again. They'll say, make America great again. And here's the 20-step plan of how we're going to make it happen. If you want to go into the weeds about it. But the average guy voting is not thinking about that. He's like, yeah, that guy has a vibe. Mm-hmm. And he said, hey, maybe my kids shouldn't have to pay for college when my tax dollars go to Israel. So their kids don't have to pay for college. Makes sense. That's it.
He did a masterful job, and we do got to get out of here. But he did a masterful job because they asked him point blank the question, the BS question of does Israel have a right to exist, and he framed it essentially as do we need to be spending billions of dollars or trillions of dollars?
I just watched it again today. He said, stunning. Does Israel have a right to my tax dollars?
Yeah. And he circled the question back around too, and he does have his bars that he continues to say over and over again: money in your pocket, money for Michiganders, and essentially money for, healthcare. Like he's running on a Medicare for All program, which is awesome, and we need more people like that. And when he wins, there will hopefully be a lot of copycats or people that follow in the footsteps there. But yeah, we do got to get out of here. Robert, anything you want to tell to the beautiful people that are listening before we go?
We're recording on a Friday night.
Yeah.
This will play on Sunday.
Play on Monday now.
Monday, I can't remember anymore. Big shout out to Cabo Verde who went down.
That was a hell of a game, man. That was a great game.
Big shout out to them, man. I'm got my Cabo Verde jersey in the on order right now, and also I'm looking into tourism. I've been trying to go to Africa. That's the first place I'm gonna hit. It looks so beautiful there. It's amazing.
World Cup's been great. Yeah. I love the World Cup.
World Cup's been cool.
I hate FIFA. Yeah. I love the World Cup, but
as long as there's certain countries that as long as they get knocked out, it's a good tournament for me. We're almost there. I just need I need obviously England to lose, and that might be it because Germany's out, right?
The United States,
Germany. That's fine. I mean, they could win. I don't care.
Yeah.
I've got it's whatever.
Yeah.
But
I think Trump.
Yeah, as long as England doesn't win.
Yeah.
England, Belgium, Amsterdam, pretty much colonial powers. Knock the colonial powers out. I'm really going for Mexico.
Oh, Mexico's so much fun. I am and cancel me online or IRL. I don't care, but I am a LA Le Blue guy. So France.
Oh, I like France.
Yeah.
Colonial power.
I love Mbappe. Mbappe is.
I like Mbappe too.
Mbappe is one of my favorite players to watch ever. He's incredible.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you so much for listening, everybody. We do got to get out of here, but listen every Monday at 9. Monday at 10. I'm sorry. Good morning, Comrade. WHIVLP New Orleans 102.3. We love you. Bye-bye.
Bye.